the master and disciple. Yumi's efforts in bed were not in vain. Sex is this, you reap what you sow. Yumi had it. Yumi didn't say it, but sensed that something had changed inside her. It was unprecedented. The change was not just something more, but was a comprehensive, profound, and transformative nature. Yumi was much at ease now, and suddenly had an extra aura before Guo Qiaoqiao. Of course, this stock of momentum Yumi did not show, especially not on her face, but instead put into her stomach, to be generous, calm, and self-contained. When the child is born, Yumi will not be condescending in front of Guo Qiaoqiao, even if Guo Jiaxing gives her backing. To the same Guo Jiaxing sees, he, Guo Jiaxing, has no reason to near one, far one, fragrant one, stink one. There is no such thing. When the child is in her hands, it is not up to them. The mother is precious because of the son. Now the problem is Yu Xiu. Yu Xiu has to be examined by Yumi carefully. Which side she supports and which side she stands on is a question of position related to her own future and fate. Yumi still wants to be benevolent and righteous. Yumi's inspection was unexpected, but Yu Xiu had a new movement. This girl doesn't stay at home much now and moves to run outside, mainly in the afternoon. Yumi knew this little bitch couldn't resist. Observed some days, she saw the clue. As soon as Yu Xiu has time, she strains to the accountant office of the organization and chats warmly with Accountant Tang. Accountant Tang is an over 40 woman, but the authorities of the young and old still call her Little Tang. Tang's skin is very white and she has a fat face. This kind of face is born in all seasons, like the sunflower blooming in the wind, and can always smile to welcome the look and to be very pleasing. Yu Xiu calls Little Tang interesting and also calls her Little Tang, but calls her Auntie Little Tang. Both aware socially and never shut her outside. Why is Yu Xiu so close to Tang? Yumi, especially tracked once, deliberately turned to the accountant room window. There was a new discovery. Yu Xiu and Accountant Tang have half a watermelon in front of each, using a paperclip to pick and eat. The watermelon seeds were not thrown away and were gathered on the glass countertop. They were eating, talking, and laughing, but sounded very little. Even though there was no one else, they still maintained a state of whispering. It was obvious that the relationship was private and unusual. Yu Xiu was back to the window and didn't notice how wary Yumi's eyes were at all. It was Accountant Tang who saw Yumi outside the window first and immediately stood up and said to Yumi with a smile, "Master Guo, have some watermelon." The watermelon was almost eaten, so Accountant Tang's words were obviously a polite remark. However, Yumi did not feel that Accountant Tang had fake expressions. On the contrary, her mood was deeply better, as it turned out that the people in the institution compound called Yumi Master Guo behind her. Yumi originally did not know this kind of name had a noticeable connotation. As the boat rises with water, Yumi naturally has the feeling of change. Yumi also smiled and told Yu Xiu, saying, "Yu Xiu, bring Accountant Tang home sometime." Yumi was quite satisfied with her words, feeling that they expressed her identity in a way that only Master Guo could. Accountant Tang was obviously flattered by this statement and laughed while using her tongue to dispose the watermelon seeds in her mouth with a messy smiling face. Yumi thought to herself on her way back, no wonder the kitchen smells like fried melon seeds these days. So this is where they come from. After frying, Yu Xiu could once again run over to Accountant Tang, clipping and chatting. It was such a thing. It looks like Yu Xiu, this girl, is really a full white-paw cat, uninvited but familiar with every family. Yu Xiu, this girl, is very active and has clear clues. As this is only a few days, she's already rooted around the institution compound. At this rate, what's the use of her as a sister? How can she hold her down? Thinking so, Yumi cannot help but have a few points of concern. Gotta be careful. Yumi's analysis can be said to have grasped the key point. Yu Xiu at Tang is really not for melon seeds or homie chat, but has a far-reaching plan. Yu Xiu wants to learn the craft and wants to learn the hand of Auntie Little Tang's abacus. What to do with learning? Yu Xiu is still blind, but wait and see. A craft leads to a road after all, so Yu Xiu has to plan for herself. Relying on Yumi is absolutely unreliable. Yu Xiu does not want to rely on Yumi either. Yu Xiu had planned not to tell Tang about her mind, for fear that it would reach Yumi's ears. Yumi would not be able to fulfill her. Yu Xiu only wanted to watch and learn in secret. Yu Xiu had such confidence. In the past, Yu Xiu knitting wool is also like this: flat needle, up and down needle, sicey needle, threaded needle, Albanian needle. Yu Xiu did not specialize in learning, but just quietly, secretly looked a few times and learned them. Not only crafted out of it, but can also outperform others. Yu Xiu's heart has this spirit, and her hands have this skill. However, the abacus is not the same after all. Yu Xiu had looked some days, just heard the sound, but could not see the process. Unexpectedly, Tang took the initiative to open up to Yu Xiu. This day, Accountant Tang suddenly said, "Yu Xiu, I teach you to play with the abacus." Yu Xiu was shocked and did not expect little Tang to say such words, so said, "I'm so stupid. How to learn? Learning is useless." Tang smiled and said, "Just take it as a relief for me." Yu Xiu then learned. Yu Xiu was not greedy and planned to learn addition and subtraction first. Multiplication and division would be put off for a while. Yu Xiu had not yet passed the multiplication and division in arithmetic. But Auntie Tang said that the addition and subtraction were enough, and that division was not necessary because she did not even know how to do it herself. Auntie Tang said, "Add some, subtract some. Accounting is just that." Yu Xiu heard that. Accountant Tang said this meant she had the idea in Yu Xiu's heart. She didn't even break it down, so Yu Xiu needed less to break it down. Yu Xiu studied quite well and progressed at a particularly fast pace. Speaking of which, when Yu Xiu was in 3rd grade, the arithmetic teacher taught the abacus for a few days. The teacher had a very large hairy abacus on the blackboard, and Yu Xiu listened to one lesson, uninterested, so she started to chat. Yu Xiu thought it seems that learning things must have a purpose, and with a purpose, there is interest. Accountant Tang found that Yu Xiu, this girl, is indeed smart, has a good memory, sticking to things like glue. Let's say that the password is quite complex. After a few days of work, Yu Xiu memorized it faster than Tang at the beginning. Tang praised Yu Xiu. Yu Xiu said, "Isn't the master taught me well?" When it comes to a good apprentice, maybe the master's motivation is sometimes higher than the apprentice. Tang asked Yu Xiu to come every day, and if she's absent for one day, little Tang deliberately makes a very lost look.